and I'm back with a brand new random review. I am Reese, and I'm about to give you a random review. Did I just say that twice? Oh well. Okay, so, I'm back now, guys, because obviously I've been quite busy lately, but the good news is I'm free now to do another random review, but this is a very special random review, because I'm going to be talking about one of Stanley Kubrick's best masterpiece films, or one of his best masterpieces, if that makes more sense. The Shining. That's right, the classic 1980 movie directed, written and filmed and created by Stanley Kubrick based off Stephen King's classic novel. Now we know the whole story of Stephen King didn't like the film and how it was made and what was going on, etc, etc. Look, I'm not here to talk about how the film was made or what it's all about and everything. We all know about it, but of course we need to talk about a very certain scene. But let's go through a little bit of The Shining, about what I think of it. Now The Shining was one of my first horror films I actually ever watched. I mean, it was creepy, it was scary, it's intense, the settings are amazing in the hallways and the rooms. It's just really so chilling and psychological and scary. And you're probably wondering why I've got this hat on as well. Well, this is my knowledge hat, because I'm going to tell you, as I said just a little moment ago, about one particular scene in The Shining, which is of course the ending. The ending is the most talked about scene in the whole film. Why? Because, okay, so as we all know, Jack chased his son into the maze and obviously he got lost and Danny managed to get his way out. Danny and Wendy managed to escape and of course Jack froze to death in the end. But then you think, oh, it's all over, Jack's frozen to death. And then this scene pops up. The scene where the camera very slowly walks towards the hallway and ends up, well, focused on a photograph in the middle of the centre of the whole entire photograph gallery. And in the picture, you see Jack Torrance in the bottom centre with a title or a little tiny tag saying July 21st, 1921. And then you're thinking, that doesn't make any sense. The film was set in 1980, so how come Jack Torrance is in a picture set in 1921? Well, there are some certain clues about why he's in there. Now everyone thinks that apparently he got sucked into the photograph and he's absorbed in the hotel and stayed there for all eternity. No, I actually don't believe that. I mean, at first I thought that, but then I decided to go deeper. Okay, so let's go back a bit and just so I know. As we all know, Stanley Kubrick always had these things about his films where he would never reveal what was going on or what was happened to a character. For example, when HAL 9000 malfunctions in 2001: A Space Odyssey, we didn't know how he malfunctioned. There's loads of questions and everything about what Stanley Kubrick did or what was going on with the characters. However, with The Shining, there's much more theories than that. I mean, they all tried to work it out in this, Room 237, but I don't think they really got the gist of it. Okay? Oh, by the way, if you're wondering how much of a Shining fan I am, I've even got a Stanley Kubrick book which talks about The Shining and all his other films. As of course, I've got the film itself. Director's cut, by the way. TV series of The Shining. And I've even got the Doctor Sleep book, which I've read twice. And I also do have a copy of The Shining book, but I can't find it. But I have read the book 3 times. Yeah, I know. That's how much I love The Shining. But yeah, so, okay, so anyway, back to my theory. So, what was the photograph all about? Okay, so there are many clues to that Jack Torrance might have been in the hotel without knowing it. Let's take a look at those clues. Clue number 1 is, well, in the director's cut version, Wendy is seen giving breakfast to Jack Torrance in a scene. But obviously in this scene, Jack Torrance says he feels like he's been here before. He says he feels like he knew his way around every corner and that he loves the Overlook Hotel immediately. Now you're probably thinking, oh, it's just deja vu. Yeah, well that's what he said. He said it's just like deja vu. That was an extended director's cut, by the way, which I have, and that was a very important scene that should never been cut out. But yes, Jack Torrance says he feels like he's been there before. Okay? And also, do you want to hear something else, a little clue here? Look, it says in the back here, oh yeah, right here, it says Torrance has never been there before, or has he? The answer lies in a ghostly time warp of madness and murder, okay? Right? That says it right at the end. So, the question is, right, he says he feels like he's never been there before. No, it says, or he might have been there, but then he says he feels like he's been there before, right? So, that's clue number 1, right? You're probably thinking, okay, that's just nothing, because you're obviously watching the film for the first time, and then you're thinking, oh yeah, okay, it's deja vu, but then there's another clue, right? Let's go way back before they said that. So clue number 2. So before the whole deja vu scene, which apparently was cut out of the UK version and not shown into the best version of all, We then see, of course, Jack Torrance being interviewed before that scene, where Mr. Ullman says that he had a predecessor hire someone called Charles Grady, okay? And then, later on in the film, you see Jack Torrance talking to Delbert Grady? Wasn't his name Charles? And now he's called Delbert Grady? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so you're getting a bit confused, that's fine, but as we all know, Jack Torrance is now speaking to Delbert Grady. But then, this is the third clue. Clue number 3. Delbert Grady says to Jack that he has always been the caretaker. And he should know, because he's always been there, right? So listen to this. So, Delbert was the previous caretaker, but his name was Charles, okay? However, Delbert killed his 2 daughters and his wife, and then killed himself. Then he's been the ghost of the hotel. Jack comes along, next thing you know, oh my god, it is deja vu. But, every time you see Jack literally talk to a ghost, right? There's literally a mirror in every scene. So maybe Delbert's not there. Maybe he's just talking to himself and he's gone mad. But that's the psychological thing. I don't think the ghosts could be real, but they might be. If they are, then this is what I think. If they are real, because they're not meant to be in the film version, but I think they are. Because, if you think about it, Jack is getting haunted by his former self, which means that Charles Grady was Jack in 1921, and Charles Grady is the reincarnation of himself. So they're literally seeing each other together. Same planet, different people, different generations have pulled together in one same location. Jack Torrance was Charles Grady. Does that make sense? It probably don't, but it does to me. And that's what I love about this film. Stanley Kubrick was so psychological with this scene, he really made it confusing. And next thing you know, you're seeing Jack Torrance in the picture. He must have been Charles Grady. Who else could he have been? You know what I mean? Delbert, Charles, he was there. Jack was there. He's been at the hotel before, that's why he loves it, and that's why he became good friends with Delbert Grady. Because Delbert knew who he was. It's a lineup of all the same people. It's very creepy, I know, but that's what makes The Shining perfect, and that's what the ending is explained for. Most people say that apparently after Jack dies he got scooped up into the photograph. No, that's not true. My theory is that Jack was Delbert Grady in the past, or Charles Grady. He was one of the two, but you know what I mean. I don't think people are going to... I think you're all going to get confused with this, but you must understand exactly what I'm trying to say, yeah? No? But that's my theory anyway. And to be honest, I think I'm right with that. You guys can stick with your theory about the whole photograph being sucked in and Jack Torrance is there for all eternity. That's fine. That is your theory. But that's my theory, the fact that Jack was the previous caretaker and that when he died, he came back and then as someone else and they meet in the bathroom. That's what I think. It's a foreshadow, psychological, terrifying production. That's what makes The Shining so scary, okay? The fact that he's seen another version of himself, but they don't even know. That's what makes The Shining a fantastic movie. Stanley Kubrick, you really know how to confuse people, but you've done a great job. That's what I love about his films, and that's why his films are my favourite. Although Clockwork Orange is my favourite Stanley Kubrick film, The Shining is second. I hope that this hasn't confused you too much, but this is my random review to say that that is the ending of The Shining explained by me. I'm Reese, and I've just given you a random review.